Welcome to your Barbados Today evening news update for Friday, March 8th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Prime Minister Mia Mottley makes an impassioned plea for families and communities to work together in a bid to steer the nation's youth on the right path. Speaking at the opening of the Chesterfield Brewster Youth Empowerment Center at Silver Hill, Christchurch this afternoon, the Prime Minister told the gathering that life was about choices, adding that society had a duty to raise young people in the best possible way.
Life is about choices. And I ask the people of Silver Hill to make the choice to take your children and determine that you want to see them in a youth service uniform, or you want to see them on a platform singing and entertaining and making you proud. You don't want to see them in the middle of the road bleeding. I ask the people of Silver Hill to make the determination that you want to be able to say that even though things may have been hard along the way, you stayed the course, and your children have now achieved A, B, C, or they're making you proud. Or like how tears would come to your eyes when you see them get up and do certain things. And these certain things don't only got to be on a stage.
Prime Minister Mottley says her government is determined to give young people and their communities a wide range of positive alternatives, but it cannot manage the task alone.
And I ask you in this community, as I will in so many other communities across Barbados, will you join me on board in being able to make the choice to raise our children together as a nation? Because what we see must not continue. With those aspects of it that see us, regrettably, seeing too many of our young people not understanding that the choices that they make now may preclude the future that you and I want for them. The government cannot do it alone. You and I can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. But the one thing I know is working together, we can and we shall.
Also addressing the opening was Minister of Youth and Community Empowerment Adrian Ford, who revealed that the Building Blocks program will be launched in the next 2 weeks.
The Building Blocks program will be built out in a special way, in a figurative way, in an academic way in the next 2 weeks, with programs to ensure that the blockpreneurs have every single opportunity to be qualified. Because we said after we are building out the blocks and giving them spaces that they can operate their businesses, we are not going to leave them on the limb. We are going to engage them in the journey. So there is going to be mentorship, there is going to be an entrepreneurial class being taught, there's going to be resiliency being taught, there are going to be life skills programs in the same Chesterfield Brewster Center. We are going to ensure that those young people are given every opportunity to be true craftsmen of their faith.
The University of the West Indies Cavell campus will break ground in May for the construction of a new 100-room dormitory. Pro Vice Chancellor and Principal Professor Udin Barito made the disclosure in her address to the campus's council meeting this morning. She explained that over the past few years, the campus has been unable to meet the demand of on-campus accommodation, and officials are therefore taking steps to remedy the situation.
In the past 4 years, demand for on-campus accommodation has far outstripped our ability to meet the supply, our ability to meet that demand, sorry. And if you look at that table, you will see that our total stock of dorm rooms is 341. And even in the years when the student numbers were declining, which were Barbadian students, the demand for dorm spaces far outstripped the supply. So you look for 4 years, the demand in 2015-16 was for 533 rooms. So we couldn't meet it by 192. And for every year of the past 4 years, the demand was greater than the 100 rooms that we are going to supply.
Professor Barito also disclosed that she had tabled a paper to approve a new Faculty of Culture, Creative and Performing Arts.
The faculty will provide intellectual leadership and career opportunities in the burgeoning cultural industries of the Caribbean and internationally. The faculty structure provides institutional prominence and marketing visibility for the degrees in cultural studies, film, dance, and theater. The significant part here is that this faculty can be established with no additional cost for resources or facilities, but with tremendous economic benefits, both economic and social, for the UWI, Barbados, the country, and the region.
In sports, the West Indies crumbled to the second lowest total in 2020 international history and their lowest ever as England pulled off a stunning 137-run victory at St. Kitts Warner Park today. Asked to chase 183 for victory after Sam Billings top-scored with 87, the regional side toppled for 45 in the 12th over, with seamer Chris Jordan snatching 4 wickets for 6 runs. Shemron Hetmaya and all-rounder Carlos Brathwaite both scored 10 to be the only ones in double figures, as the West Indies also considered the series with their second successive defeat.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
In news from the region now, Venezuela's power supply remained patchy on Friday after the worst blackout in decades paralyzed most of the country. We get the details in this report from Reuters Television.
Venezuela's government shut schools and suspended work hours on Friday after Caracas and other major cities awoke without electricity as a problem struck the country's main hydroelectric plant on Thursday. State officials say some power has been restored, but Caracas remains a city largely in the dark. Reuters correspondent Brian Ellsworth is in Caracas.
I'm here in the Altamira neighborhood of Caracas, and you can see behind me this intersection. This is what a lot of the city looks like. There are no stoplights. Schools are closed. Businesses are not functioning today. Public transportation is not working. Most people are staying in their homes. I've lived in Venezuela for about 15 years, and I've seen a lot of blackouts, but I've never seen one like this. Usually, even the big ones don't go on for much more than 6 or 7 hours.
The worst blackout in decades brought life to a standstill and fueled anger among citizens.
And finally, a grand jury in Chicago has returned 16 charges against U.S. actor Jussie Smollett, accusing him of falsely claiming to police that he had been a victim of a hate crime.
Every single one of these charges is in relation to statements that Jussie Smollett gave to 2 different police officers alleging that this hate crime had occurred. And I'll read you a little bit of it at the end of detailing what Smollett told police. It says in this count, and Jussie Smollett knew that at the time of this transmission there was no reasonable ground for believing that such an offence had been committed. Remember, Smollett claims he was attacked in the early hours of January 29th in Chicago by 2 men that he says put a noose around his neck, threw an unknown liquid on him and shouted racist and homophobic epithets at him. And as you're seeing now, Smollett then went on Good Morning America and detailed those attacks as well. Now, he was arrested a couple of weeks ago, turned himself into police. He appeared before a judge who released him on a $10,000 bond. He was ordered to surrender his passport, but these now 16 charges alleging that he made up the entire attack and knew that he was lying when he was relating those details to police.
And that's news. But for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper email updates or like us on Facebook and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and Bus Terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Do have a wonderful weekend.